per week on the usage of AI. Also, they search less. They need less time to search for information. They have a more centralized place to find the information that they are looking for. And 86% of the customers the removal of silos. I'll go into this a little bit later on when I talk about by these silos. Now, one of the things that people usually don't think about, but I think is important, especially security people and DPO people are interested about this, data if I use artificial intelligence / Rovo. Well, Atlassian uses these technologies for the different tools that they have. The security is in place, which means that you can think, okay, I had a person the other day that said artificial intelligence. Do I open up all my data that I have to everyone in the company? That is not the case, in a sense that if you have access to a certain space in Confluence and you use AI to search through this space, then you will only see the information that you have access to. It will not show you any information you have access to. Also, each request sent to these tools, all these tools here, is sent through an SSL. So it's encrypted and you can't access it any other way. Also, when you use these data processing tools, they do not save any data. So when you send a question to it, it will process the data, but it will not store the data indefinitely. It will just access your data to get the information for it. And GDPR compliant, your data is not used to improve the services, at least not their generic services. It will be used to improve the results for yourself, and that's about it. Now, Atlassian Intelligence, or AI, what is it? As you know, the Atlassian platform, the SaaS platform, is basically the infrastructure layer, which is managed by Atlassian. Then you have the experience and the different solutions, which you've probably heard about before. Now, when they introduced AI about a year or a year and a half ago, they added the Atlassian Intelligence. Go into the details and see what Atlassian Intelligence can do for you. First example, it can get you instant help, and I'll show you what this means. You very often, if you're in a support function, you very often get these type of questions. How do I get this? How do I do this? How can I bring my dog to the office? Something that obviously somebody might be wondering about. Now, AI and JSM in particular has the option to integrate it with your chats. In this case, I'm going to integrate it with Slack. Jane, she has a question and she wants to get access to Figma. Now, what will happen is that with this integration with Slack, the virtual agent, and in our case, we've called this virtual agent Charlie, help Jane automatically get her access to the tool. So through a conversation, a very simple conversation, Charlie will run a script, get her access to Figma, and that is one support less. One of the things that you can do with these that create an automatic response to your customer requests or your people's requests. Now, what else can it do? It can also get you up to speed with information. I'll give you an example about that. So this is helpful when you have distributed in different offices or working from home, as most of us do these days, and you have a ticket with a lot of information. What can happen is that Omar, who's just been assigned to this ticket, needs to know what has been going on, because there's a lot of AI. You can have a summary of what was happening, and you can see here a very simple response that has been generated through the content in the ticket. Now, sorry that this goes slow because this is screen sharing, I guess. Next slide. Next thing that it can do is it can accelerate your work. How does that work? Again, here, the same thing happens. Omar has gone through the comments, has seen what has happened, is ready to ship the laptop to he's not very inspired to type the response. Just type this, your new laptop will arrive by next Thursday, but he wants to make it a little bit more, change the tone, and he wants to be more empathetic. So what he does, he uses AI, and it will automatically rewrite the entire sentence more natural feel and get more interested from the customer. So he has done this, and what he does next is his question or the last sentence, and is going to make it a little bit more interesting for the person to read. Another thing, change the tone of the actual content that you are generating or reorganize it. Another example is through AI, you can also help it generate content. As you've seen here, you have an application in Confluence, which is the, and you're asking AI, give me some examples or publish this on websites. And you've asked, give me a professional version and a more casual version. And it will automatically generate this content based on the information that you've given. What I guess we all know this with AI is that it can only generate content based on the information that you give it. So it is only as interesting as your source information is. If you have a lot of rubbish in your content, then obviously the result of this is going to be not up to snuff as you want. So it is very important that your data is very good in the source. Now, I hope this would go a little bit quicker. Not okay. Computer is struggling because I'm sharing this to 2 different websites at the same time. Next. You can also learn on the fly. Another thing that you can do with AI. I'll give you another example. So here, what you will see is if you're onboarded into a new job, you will very often find terminology that you're not really used to. For instance, in this case, you have the term fairy dust or you have Hercules, which are probably names of products that this company that you started working for is using. And so what AI can do for you, this particular word, and or a summary, or you can ask for a content that it finds in the entire Atlassian ecosystem, it will generate a response for you. And it will also give you a relationship to all the sources where it has found this information. This is very interesting when you have new people onboarding. Instead of having a summary or a page with all the summary, all the names of your applications in there, this is a very easy way of finding information. Now, is another thing that AI can do is assume that you have a Jira Service Desk, Jira Service Management project, in which you have a lot of incoming requests through email. Instead of having, you have this typical email request that you have in your system, to go through each of these requests manually and reassigning them to the different teams or to the different request types that you have. What you can do is use AI, and it will automatically triage your tickets based on the content of the ticket. So it will change in here in the video what it has done. It has moved from emailed to the hardware section because most of these requests were related to hardware. Another example of AI is a sentiment. Built in with AI, there is a custom field which you probably have AI already active in your instance, is that it has a custom field called sentiment. And it will generate this based on the responses of the customer. Is the person angry? Is the person happy? Is the person whatever? So it will use this custom field, or it will custom field, as you can see it here on the screen, is negative. So that will also help you to update the responses for your agents, and it will also help your agents understand what the customer currently is feeling. Now, this were a couple of AI can do. I'll show a little bit more examples at the end, real life examples, because these are prepared examples, a little more examples at the end. Now, Rovo is powered by Atlassian Intelligence. So it's a different product. It's a product that you need to buy. And what are the differences? So Atlassian AI is integrated with the premium and enterprise products. So from the moment that you have premium or above, you will have AI, either in Confluence, either in Jira, or either in any other tool. It powers AI with AI summaries, AI editing, and you can also use that for Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, Trello, and the other tools. Rovo, as I said, is a separate product which is based on Atlassian Intelligence. So Rovo doesn't exist on its own. So you can't buy Rovo, for instance, if you have Jira Service Management Standard, because you need the Atlassian Intelligence. It integrates obviously with Atlassian Cloud, but the other good thing about this is it integrates with any other tool that you might have. What I haven't told you, but what is AI, is only using your Atlassian tools. As I said, Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket. But as we all know, we all use a lot of more. We have Word, we have Google Docs, we have whatever kind of tool. And that is the advantage of Rovo, to all these different sources. You generate content looking through all these sources. It also focuses on delivering complex multiplayer and cross-product use cases to boost the team productivity. So over something, it will not only look in Atlassian, it will also, sorry, wrong button. It will also look for the other things in your other tools. Basically, Rovo exists out of three areas. You can use it to find, you can use it to learn, act. Rovo search is useful when you can search for stuff. It also creates knowledge cards, which, for instance, if you want to know something about a particular user in your company, you just type the name of the user, and it will automatically generate content based on all the connected products, and it will show you this person is working on this, is using that project, is intervening in, etc., etc. Now, let's go and look in a little bit more detail. So as I said, there's three actors. There's the find, there's the learn, and there's the act. First of all, look at the find. What Atlassian has found is, or Gartner has found, in name of Atlassian, is that 47% of the workforce struggles with finding information. I'm not sure about you, but I have this on a daily basis. Where have I seen this? Where is a complete overview of a specific item that I'm looking for? Well, a lot of people have this. I'm one of them, and that's very important. The reason for this is, as I said, is that most companies cover more than 200 on a daily basis. Not you individually. There are a huge amount of applications. So that is the reason why this data is separated in different silos, which makes it difficult to find the actual result. And there are more than the 20 billion pieces of information here in Jira. There's a Word document in Google Docs. There's a spreadsheet in Google Sheets. There's a presentation in PowerPoint, etc., etc., etc. So there's a huge amount of information that it needs to go through. Now, the advantage, as I said, of Rovo is that it can search through sources, Google, SharePoint, Slack, Teams, etc., etc. Even through code. It can connect to GitHub and it go through code if you needed to. These are all the connectors for Rovo. There's a lot. If you want to connect it to Dropbox, connect it to HubSpot, you can connect it to Lucid, Google, most of the tools that you would be using in your company. So there are a couple of things that Rovo can do. You can create smart answers. So you would select and find it, but you can also create bookmarks. If somebody mentions a certain item, you can automatically create a link for this. As an administrator, you can create a link so that they can automatically find the result for this information. You can also learn with knowledge cards. Assume that I want to know something about, oh, sorry, this is not what I wanted. The previous slide. Okay. So Alana Grant is. I just typed this into the Rovo chat and it will automatically analyze all the content to which I have access and it will generate a result. In this case, she's a team lead, a manager in the engineering department, and she was in space. Now, next question that I have is, what is she currently working on? And through natural language, Rovo chat will get me the information that I need. It will give me a short summary of what she's working on and the details. She's working on these different projects, and it also mentions the sources where this comes from. Now, the second part of Rovo is the learn. How do I learn? Examples, you can use natural language to find information. There is no content switching that is necessary. As I said, you don't need to switch to Google Docs, you don't need to switch to PowerPoint, you don't need to switch to SharePoint. It will use all the connected sources and find the information. And it will you can automatically learn through the generated knowledge cards and definitions, as I've shown earlier. So an example here, you would click on the chat if you have Rovo activated, and you would go and ask certain questions. For instance, give me the metrics for our marketing campaign. And it will go and search through the documentation and will give you the results automatically. And you can even add it as a comment to the page. Now, all this is possible because, as I've shown before, to all these different LLM tools. Now, why is this so important? Because Atlassian, I'm not sure if you've heard about it, they have a concept called teamwork graph, which basically is concentrated about 4 concepts: your goals, your works, and your knowledge. Those are the 4 things that Atlassian wants you to concentrate on, which is important because every team in your company will have something to do with it. When I talk about goals, it's not only the IT goals, it's not only the HR goals, it's not only the finance goals, it's basically your company goals. And if everybody knows what these company goals are, they will all be striving to work to get to these goals. Now, the teams that work on these goals might be different. Some will work in HR, some will work in IT. As you can see, all these items are will work with the different teams: the software team, the marketing team, the IT team, and the leadership team. The leadership team will be interested in investments, which will have to do with changes and scenarios. In turn will have to do with the calendar for marketing, because if there are changes in the software, obviously marketing needs to know about this and needs to communicate this. So this is all connected with each other. Now, if you would go into regular AI and you would say, 2 weeks, please catch me up on the progress my team has made that will impact our upcoming campaign. Well, they will just say they finished the sprint, completed epic 1, 2, 3, and closed 3 bugs. That would be the result because they miss the entire team graph work from Atlassian. So when you do this with Rovo, items connected, and it will give you a much more detailed result in your response. It will know where to find this particular information in each of these areas. So that is the advantage of, for instance, as I've shown before, you can use it to understand the company jargon. I've shown you previously that AI also did this. Rovo, you can define these definitions. You can make them fixed in your company so that it doesn't need to generate, and it will also obviously show you the sources. This is an extension which you can install in your browser, in Chrome, for instance, which is the Rovo chat, which would be similar to Google, but it will connect. It will only search within your own data sources. You can and then find somewhere else. And if you have an enterprise instance, you can use the different sites to which Rovo is connected to go and find the information. Any questions so far going on?
Is it a Q&A time or we can wait for the later?
So, sorry?
Is it a Q&A time or shall we wait?
I have some more stuff to present, but I don't want you to fall asleep. So if there's any question, please raise your hand.
I can ask, even though you don't need the microphone for the room, there's people online can't hear you without seeing that.
You showed on the demo that you wanted to find out what Alana Grant is working on, right?
Mhm.
So what if I want to find what my team is working on?
Then you would do the same thing. You would just type the name of the team, and since the team is defined in Jira, for instance, then it will where this team is related working on.
Okay, and what if I don't want to search it every day? What my team is working on. So let's say I'm running on a sprint 2 weeks, and I want to have this automated report. Okay, so what my team is working on, I want to have it in a config. What my team worked last week. What is there? Is there anything I should be aware of? Is there anything concerning? I want to have the automated report in Confluence page. Can I have that in Rovo?
Yes, you can. I'll come to that in a minute.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll show you some other features of Rovo. So part of Rovo is the act. That is one of the interesting parts. Acting means basically that with the information that you get from the artificial intelligence, you actually do something. You would create a Confluence page, for instance. Now, there are 3 types of agents. The box, those that are generated by it. Customize a little bit. You can also build your own agents, or you can find custom built agents on the marketplace by marketplace vendors, partners. Now, these are some of the out-of-the-box agents that exist in Rovo. For instance, the issue organizer would be an example of, for instance, find all the issues in my software project that don't have, and suggest an epic for them, and so create an epic and link. We'll see another one of this a little bit later on in the examples. Another one, as I said, are the marketplace apps. These are 3 of the apps that exist out there. There's probably more by now, but if you go to the marketplace, you will find apps for product, Rovo agents. Another one is that you can create your own agent, either by simple description of what you want the agent to do, or you can even code them. You can create your own agents. And in this case, what you could do is create your own agent of where the agent would find the information for you and generate the report in Confluence. Yeah. Okay, so This is more of the part. Now, some examples that are real life examples that I've taped on the fly. There's no cutting or pasting. It is actually what is happening. And the first example that I want to show you is the use of virtual agents, which is something which is very helpful for you. In the portal, I showed you the example earlier with but you can also use this in the portal. Assume that somebody in our company wants to know what the benefits are, the HR benefits. So what happens here is you would open the chat in the portal, and you would ask what are the benefits, or the intent, because you intent has been defined to respond to this particular question. And as you've seen before, it will ask you, give you different options which you can click, and then based on the option that you click, it will give you a result. And based on the select whether it's helpful for you or wasn't helpful for you. So if you found this helpful, in this case I did, I would just go and select that, and then also thank the agent for helping me. This is very interesting. This is a very simple example, obviously, but you can create basically flow. Somebody wants information about this, then please have these options. If somebody wants help about this, and you could create an entire structure in the system where it would give you a very easy way of helping you. Having an agent answering a ticket, same as you have with the Confluence knowledge base that is linked to your Jira Service Management. Here it's more interactive. So it's not just a list of articles. You can really have people talk to the agent and have it respond to the result. Another information, another way of Rovo is, oh, this went quicker than I wanted, sorry. Not sure why. Okay. Sorry, and automatically let me click the play button here. So what I want to do here is, I have a lot of tickets too, and I see that I have two about laptops. Now, I'm curious as a manager of this queue, and I want to know how many tickets did we get. So what I'm asking the rover to answer is, can you tell me how many laptops tickets we had? And he's okay, 512. I think, ooh, that's a lot of tickets. That's way too many that I expected. So I'm going to ask, how many were opened longer than a week ago? So I want to restrict my answer and go into more details. And then the system will go back and give me a response also. So it's going to search for the answer. And the nice thing about this is that there's 114, and also it will create the automatically query link, and it will open a query or a JQL, which will show you all the tickets onto this particular response. Now, again, here I'm interested in how many tickets are still open, because 114 seems a lot, and I want to know how many tickets of these are still open. So you can really talk to the system and get it to find the results that you're looking for. I've asked this all in one question, but we know each other. You don't do this. You start with one question, and then based on the result, you think, okay, I want something more detailed. So you can dive in to the actual. Finally got the result that I wanted. In this case, as you see, the actual result that I want, and it has given me this through basically questions and answers. Now, example is managing a change request. We all have had these tickets in Jira Service Management where we get a change to change something in a software or whatever. So in this example, Cassie has raised a ticket, and she has wanted for a customer system management system update. I go ticket and I see that the planned start date and there are no risks. Testing is done. This is a particular description. I go through the summary of if there's any conflicts, if there's any other changes, if there's any incidents currently related to these particular servers that I want to change. So then I'm fine. Now, before I send this off to the approval, is check if the actual information in this ticket is sufficient. So I've built in a system where it is going to check if my requirements in this ticket are sufficient. So what this automation has been doing is using an agent that will check the ticket and see if it is up to date, if it is sufficient enough to get enough information. And what I see is that the completeness, the clarity, and the estimated are not sufficient. Is use AI, and I will go and say, okay, please improve the description of this ticket to make it clearer so that people know what I'm talking about. And as you can see, it will automatically recreate the one single line that I had. It will recreate more descriptive for the people that need to implement this. So what I'll do next, save this, and I will go through this pre-check. I'll click the pre-check, do this again, and I'll now wait for it to check clarity and the estimated value. And let's give it a couple of seconds. And as I can see, clarity are okay. But what I've obviously missed is the estimated. How much time will this change take to implement? So what I need to do next, the estimated or the original estimate, I put in a random value. Obviously, this is an example. I'll put in 2 weeks. And what I'll do again is see if I can pass this to the approval board. So again, I'll use the pre-check. And at this moment, it'll probably come back saying that everything is okay. The 3 criteria are all set. And as you can see, it is now gone automatically to the authorized status. This is one of the examples where you can use AI, Rovo, in a workflow, because I've not typed anything. It's been done all automatically. I've changed the status, and automatically within the workflow, I've added a process where AI, the actual kit. Let's go to another example. Here I'm using the agent, ops guide agent. So what happens here is that I see that there are a lot of tickets that are open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a ticket. Apparently it's not starting either. So let me click on the play. I'm going to open one of these incidents, and let's assume that I finished this incident, okay? So what I'm going to do is it's been resolved. And what I've done here in this process, I've again included an automation or an agent that will automatically check if there are any other similar tickets that are open. Okay, so and when in this process, in this automation, an agent will go and go through all the tickets that are still open and see if there are any similar tickets. And in a second, you will see in the comments, there will be an added comment saying there are still open tickets or similar tickets to this. Let me, otherwise, so, okay, so here you go. These are the tickets that are still open. And from here, what I could do is escalate all these into a problem. I'm really annoyed by the floor, sorry. Do you guys hear that also, I guess? I'll go and stand here. Yeah. Okay, so this is another example where you can use AI and Rovo to automatically generate content and help you get to the next step. So the next step here would be create a problem and link all these incidents. To be honest with you, what I've tried is to have Rovo and these automations also create the problem and link all these tickets, but I haven't gotten to that step. So that's the reason why you're not seeing it, but it is certainly possible. Okay, other example, update the knowledge base based from ticket. I have Confluence. This page that describes an error, but what I wanted to do is find information about this error in the ticket. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask Rovo, please and go and find the information ticket so that I can use it to create the description and all the other fields here. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm asking it to describe the event in this particular ticket, ITO 8000 or 9300 and whatever, this result. So again, here we'll create a summary of the results that I have. What I've done next is I've just gone ahead and I've copied this information and I've pasted it in the Confluence page. And I'll do a couple of questions and additional information that I need. For instance, here I asking for what the affected services were. Go ahead and show me that also, which I can copy and paste. Will help me generate content easier than if I would have to go to the ticket, open the ticket, look at the different custom fields, find the information, create a summary, rewrite the text that it found, etc., etc. So this helps me a lot in finding the information that I need. This is real life, so it's taking a while before it actually gives the content. Is anything happening? Sorry. I guess you get the drift. Basically, what it does, it will go and find the information, and that is it. Something also, what you can also do with AI is, have you ever wondered about automations? You think, okay, I need an automation that does this and that, and it needs to do all these kind of stuff. Also use AI. This is another example. So assume that I want a automation that does something particular. So what I want to do here is I want to create that creates an epic. I don't remember what the exact rule is, so we'll need to read it here, what the idea is. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the, okay, yes. If an epic is transitioned to done, please send my email address to warn me that there are still stories or tasks within this epic that haven't been solved. So this is what I wanted to do. If I close my epic and there are still tasks in this epic that haven't been solved, so this is that I typed, and it will automatically create this particular automation. Now, when I go ahead and try this, so this is an epic that I'm moving to the done status. I will open the epic and see if there are still incomplete. So these haven't finished yet, haven't been done yet. You will see that it will indeed send an email, and this is the email that I get. There are still issues in the particular epic that aren't closed yet. So this is how to use AI. As I said, AI and Rovo, they're bundled together, and it is very helpful in different locations. What I also tried, because you might think, okay, who of you here in the room is a Jira administrator? Yeah? Okay. Have you ever had the doubt about how many custom fields that I might merge and optimize, etc., etc.? I'm sorry to say, this is not something that AI or Rover can do. So it will own content only on the content that you generated yourself. It will not work on all the administrative part. It will not tell you you have too many issue types, you have too many custom fields. These custom fields might be able to merge into one. That is not something that it will do. It will only work with generated yourself. Because I was thinking about that will also, but no, sorry to say it doesn't. Okay, so this is my talk. Thank you very much.
Let's see if there are any questions in the room. If there are more online, keep them coming. It takes a minute for them to come in. If there are any from the room, we'll start with those.
Hello. Yeah, the question is, you work in Atlassian.
I do not work with in Atlassian. I work Atlassian.
Yeah, the question is, if the financial fraud happen in your department, for example, continuously, for example, it happened on 2016, 2018, and 24 in my financial fraud happened. And it's from last year till now, again, they catch the fraud. 20 million pound, 5 million pound, 25 million pound. Fraudsters and give back the money. But what do you do with that department? You switch off and sack them, or you transfer, for example, the employees or employees sack, because that employees are that department. To let the fraudsters come, the cash from the who is the owner of the cash? The stakeholders. They come back and say, give back my money, as they did so many times. I can't pay from my 400 million pounds.
Okay.
That's the issue.
Yes.
What do you manage? How do you manage this issue?
Yes.
You close down that department.
I understand your question. I understand your question, but I fail to see AI and Rovo and fraud.
I can give you my answer, but afterwards. I would say not strictly relevant to the topic. Yes, please.
How do you prevent to have, for example, when you ask to the AI, how do you prevent that the information the system is giving to me is information that I shouldn't have access to? So is it the system will give me information that I'm not allowed to see?
It will no. As I mentioned in the beginning, it will not give you information which you are not allowed to see.
What is using to restrict me my permissions or the information?
Any permission that you've implemented in Jira, Confluence, if you can't access the page or the space in Confluence, you won't get this information. Basically, it will maintain all permissions implemented. So if you are not able to access a Google Doc or whatever tool that you have, if you the AI and Rovo will not be able to access it in your name either. So there is no way that you will find information through and be able to find manually.
And that is that they doesn't have access to any of the connections, it won't have access to the document. So my concern is if you ask the AI enough and re-ask, I want this document, because maybe in between projects, right, you have separate instances and documents that are called the same, right? Because you have the PMO gives you templates and you have so if you ask enough, you can get the file from a different project and the information that you shouldn't be getting. So is there now a way to audit the AI to see what the user can access to?
That is a good question. I've never tried to ask it, can you check who can access this document? I've not tried that because I don't think it will answer to that. Because as I said, it will only access the content with your credentials and generate a response based on that. The case that you explained in one project where I personally, for instance, don't have access, and if somebody copies that to another location where I do have access of AI, it's a problem of mismanagement of that particular document within the organization.
Yeah, I think like if you ask and someone in your team does have access, maybe the AI confuses
No.
you and the team
No.
and gets you the.
No.
Like, if you can from time to time audit the information, because maybe no one reports it, maybe he gets information and it's not that he gives you or it gives you the document, right? It gives you the information in the document, so you don't know where it is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the blurry part, if it's blurry.
Yeah. It's the question that you ask has a relationship to any kind of permission question. How secure or how well is my documentation secured? How do I guarantee who has access to which document? Again, here, I don't think it has any relationship to AI because, as I said, I will only the information to which you have access with your credentials. So in search through all the sources to which you have access, is there a way to check or do searching on that? See if there's any. I don't know. I don't think so, but I can search that out for you and get back and we'll let you know and we can post this. Yeah.
But that's going back to your previous question that it doesn't check. AI will not check information. Sorry, earlier that AI doesn't check the configuration item, right? So
No, it does. Well, I don't know where you're aiming at. It will check, as I said, it was one on the. It will check, or it will only access the documentation to which you have access.
yeah, so if we there's a restricted page and I don't have access to restricted page, okay, and I need access to that page, and if AI is giving me that information, hey, okay.
Same as if there in your example, if there is a restrict, you won't even know the URL of that restricted page unless somebody gives you the URL of that page. And the only thing that you can do is request access. That is not something AI will do for you or Rover will do for you.
Good. Thank you. Last question. When you are showing Atlassian AI, okay, and you told me that it doesn't learn, right? There is no learning capability for Atlassian AI.
It does learn, but it will not share that learning with anyone else.
So when I use ChatGPT and I started to generate document, shared with the people I worked with before, or my friend, I said, no, you didn't write that. It's written by ChatGPT. So then I tell ChatGPT to write in a such a way that English is not my native language, right? So if I'm generating content, okay, and if it doesn't remember that my writing style, okay, so every time I need to prompt it that please do it in a different way, or is it gonna remember?
It is going to remember. Basically, it responds on the way that you write your prompt. Because I've in one of the examples that I've shown, check or if a or not. I've changed some of the questions that I used, and sometimes it gave me a different response. Sometimes with the same question response. The obviously the AI will learn, but it will not share your information with any other person within. Won't the way this is. I think the way that this is existing LLMs, to which it sends information, encrypted information, which will generate content, and the result of that content is saved by Atlassian. They use that content to optimize the next question that you will ask it. It is not saved by ChatGPT or.
Interesting. Thank you.
Building up on that question as well, you mentioned again on one of the slides that essentially the data that you put in is going to be what you get out as well. So if you've been crap data, you're going to get crap data at the end of the day. Is there a way to use Atlassian Intelligence, to use AI to at your source data?
You could
I'm just thinking you're getting started. You don't have a knowledge base within your space.
Oh yeah,
So
you can
make
show what you can generate a document where I have the most common errors that people have when they have a printer issue. It can generate this document just as ChatGPT can. Atlassian AI can also do this. Yeah, and from that you can create your, obviously, as any automated or generated content, you need to check its validity. Is it correct what they say? Because your environment might be different, you might have different printers or whatever, but you can certainly generate content from scratch. Yeah.
Thank you. One at the back. Just bring the mic round. This is the downside of needing a mic. That's okay.
Thanks, Jax, for the insights. So my question is, so one of the struggles typically the customers go through is to identify a good start point to progress their journey towards AI and understand the relevant use cases. The approach that you think we should take, and how can Nomad Mood help in such cases?
Okay, so basically what you want to do is set your goals. I'm going to answer you with a question to do. For instance, if you see that you lose a lot of time in automating stuff or getting documentation ready, to all of us, we generate a huge amount of documentation. That the difficult part is maintaining it. Because we have a huge amount of documentation, the same page several times, because we have this. We use people or help people understanding what AI can do for them, is show these examples, help them understand where it can help them in optimizing their way of working, where it can help them find. This is basically the first entry point, and then you can go to the next step and help understand how we can automate stuff. As I've shown, you can create automatic documentation. You can have actions being taken. For instance, as I've shown in the pre-checked for the change manager, it automatically does stuff. It not only generates stuff, it also does stuff. It helps generate stuff and check stuff. And here, as always, it needs testing. And I think that we can really sit down with people and help what the advantages are of AI and what the advantages are of Rovo with their agents. Because I've only shown a couple of the pre-built agents that come by, make them yourself. We're working on an example. We're working on a solution, agents, and where we have successful results. For instance, I'll give an example. We're working on where we have, let's just say, we've got 300 curriculums of different people. We're looking for a specific person that fits within a certain job description. An agent that does this with more or less success. Obviously, there's always a human check that is needed, but it does it with 3 or 4 top people that, or CVs that comply with the request that you've given it.
Thanks, Jax.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Back here.
Yeah, I had a question about how the add-on is exactly accessed. So you showed us 2 experiences, one where we can have a add-on on the Google Chrome, and the other examples you were showing is through within Jira and Confluence. There a difference in how that experience looks like? Like, so for example, if I just use it within Jira, will it just access my Jira content and not the other add-ons, or only the Google Chrome will access all the other plugins and stuff?
Okay, so when you as I said, AI is linked plan that you have for each of these products. If you have Confluence Premium or Enterprise, it will work for Confluence. If you have Jira Service Management Premium or Enterprise, then it will work for Jira Service Management. Rovo, on the other hand, is activated for the entire site. And you have Jira Standard and Confluence Premium and whatever, then it will work on all these different tools.
Let's see if there are any more.
Did that answer your question? No.
I guess what I meant is if I access Rovo in Jira and say
Yeah.
Enterprise everything, and if I ask them a question, then will it only use Jira content? It'll use the whole content that's happening.
No, it will use all content. I don't know if you remember one of the last examples that I showed, the Confluence page, where I asked Rovo to go and find information from a Jira ticket.
Non-Atlassian content it will access.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
my own question is related, so I'm going to add it. There was a page, you had a bunch of Rovo add-ons, essentially, which are tools that Rovo can talk to. Is Slack one of them as a source of knowledge?
Yes,
And I asked
it
this,
is.
it is good. I asked this
is.
as someone who's in startup land right now, where we haven't got anything. It's all a few messages in Slack. So
Yeah.
that would be super awesome.
Yeah, that can certainly work.
Is there any piece of your question that isn't answered before I move on?
No,
All good. Okay, let's see if there are any other questions in the room. There's one here.
My apologies if this question's been asked while I was getting pin. So my question is more from a permission standpoint. So while you were showing one of the examples to do with asking about, okay, my benefits, etc. So I'm going with a broad spectrum assumption that the agent's permission is not agent's permission, it is the asking the question. Because I'm
Yes.
guessing if I go and even though it can see it, it won't tell me.
No. As a couple of minutes ago, what it does is it will always respond to your question with the permissions that you have in place.
Right.
If you know that information, that would be useful to know.
I know, right?
Room. If not, there are two online at least, maybe some more. So let me just saunter this away while you think if there are any more questions. Oh yeah, go for it.
So as these are agents that we are creating, do they learn from their past interactions?
Yes.
And can what are the most frequently performed tasks?
Yes.
And for how long do they retain this information, the history of
That
past
is a good
interactions?
question. I would say indefinitely, but I'm not sure. I don't know the detail, but I can figure that out.
Question. Yep, question back here.
So I have another question from a slightly more technical standpoint. So the agents are something that I can create on my own, right? So as a user of Jira, I could create an agent on my own.
Yes.
Like, so for example, when you have tools, the tools are usually administered by a system administrator who's looking after the tools. Do the agents also require having system administrators?
They can use the creation of Azure administrators or admins. Yeah,
So only the administrators can
Yes.
create agents,
Agents.
not any and every user.
correct.
Any more questions from the room? Well, I go back to the computer and see what the online questions are. The first one, which I remember, was knowledge cards. How are they created online?
Through AI, basically that's the way it works. So again, here you type some text. In this case, I think the one that I showed was Alana Grant. Basically, when you type this text, the system will go and look in all the systems, will generate this automatically on the fly. So every time it will regenerate it, or at least try to regenerate it if there's any new content.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. And I think online, keep them coming if there are more, is, where is it? Can Rover interact with assets and Jira Ops? The Rover chat agent getting the asset information or details about who's on call? Good question.
It is indeed a good question. What I've personally tried is if Rovo, for instance, I have an old laptops. Can it check how many laptops there are still available? I wasn't able to do it. I don't think that it can check that, but I'm not sure.
There's a gap in the market for some marketplace vendor to
Exactly.
an asset plugin. That's cool. Those are the two questions I had from online. Let's see if there are any more from the room. Silence. All right. If not, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Before we move on to the obligatory QR code, I have to get you to one more thing, which is to decide who the best question was asked by, to give away the luxury, all expenses.
Do I need to decide that? I need to decide.
well,
No, you need to
I mean,
decide.
okay, yeah, I can do if you want. Would you rather?
I prefer you decide what the best question was.
Ooh, who was the test of my memory? Because I wasn't expecting to be doing this. Let's think. I think the best question I heard was from you around permissions, your original question around permissions. So congratulations, the luxury water bottle is yours. Thank you. All right.
Wanted that bottle, so that's what I was asking more.
Who wants the bottle? Well, who asks the most questions? So if you like today, please give this a scan. This is our LinkedIn page, essentially. So we post all the events that we run. We try and do one a month. We don't succeed, but that's the general gist. Please do give this a scan and give us a follow. But also, something big is coming. Do evening meetups like this, very similar kind of format. We're planning a full-day conference on the 6th of June. This is, if any of you went to our event at the Barbican, which was January, I want to say, thank you, Jay. It will be a similar kind of format to that. So we'll cover a range of topics, including AI and ITSM and more, and a bunch of speakers from the community as well. And if any of you guys fancy giving a session, at the moment I have a not empty, but slowly filling up agenda. We have some speakers that we're in the middle of round potentially provide a session. I'd be very up for hearing from you, but it should be a good day, so please do give this a scan and hopefully see you there. And I think that's going to be our next event, so that's the 6th of June. We've got half the stuff sorted, we just need speakers now, and it'd be really good to see you all there. So unless I've forgotten anything left to do is say thank you everybody for coming. Thank you Jack for speaking. Thank you online. If you are joining us online at the beginning, yeah, my fault, forgot to click a button, but we got there in the end, all good. If you're here with us in person, we have pizza and drinks through there. If you're online, that's it for you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll be bucket, no one take it.
Yeah, that's a good topic.